Would you like a food that could cure all diseases, make you drop 10 pounds of body fat in a week, and make you 1.35 times smarter? Well, nothing like that exists, I'm sorry. But in this video, we are gonna look at an alleged close second, a category of foods called functional foods. So, functional foods, sometimes also called nutraceuticals, can be considered to be foods that provide additional benefits that go beyond their standard nutritional value. If this sounds a little bit vague, it's because it is. For the US and most countries, there is no legal definition of the term functional foods, so it's up to the populace interpretation of what a functional food actually is. The term functional food actually originated in Japan. In the 1980s, the Japanese government created a special category of foods. These foods were created specifically to improve the health of the population and were also given a special seal in order to be recognized as this special class of foods. You can think of them like foods that go even further beyond the value of normal foods. Functional foods can be categorized into two major categories. The first category consists of whole natural foods that are so healthy that they deserve to be classified in this special category as functional foods. We're talking about foods like fruits and vegetables due to their incredibly dense nutrient profile, as well as containing other plant compounds like polyphenols, fish for their omega-3 fatty acid content, as well as other vitamins and minerals, beans for their incredibly high fiber content, as well as protein and again antioxidants and other plant compounds. And of course, honey is also included in this category due to its antibacterial properties. Now, in the second category, we have modified or enhanced foods, for example, through fortification of vitamins and minerals, or foods that were specifically bred or created to be more nutritionally dense or otherwise provide another benefit to health or performance. For the purposes of this video, I'm going to be mostly covering the second category for the simple reason that most of us already know that we should be eating healthy whole foods. We all know that we need to eat our fruits and vegetables, that we should be eating our legumes, our nuts, our seeds, and all that stuff. We all know that. Now, fortified foods are very, very common. The biggest example probably being breakfast cereal. Many brands of breakfast cereal are fortified with various vitamins and minerals like vitamin B12, iron, calcium, vitamin D, and many others. Milk is also a very common fortified product. Vitamin D is a very common micronutrient that gets artificially placed in milk. This is because the fat content in milk helps vitamin D to be absorbed much easier by the body. Greek yogurt is another example of a commonly fortified product, specifically with probiotics. Now, Greek yogurt is a natural source of probiotics, but many companies do fortify it to dramatically increase the content. Now, obviously, there are tons and tons of fortified foods. It would take days to cover them all. So what I want to answer is a very simple question. Are fortified foods good for health? And the answer is yes, of course. For the most part, fortified foods are a good addition to any person's diet because they offer a cost-effective, easy way to fill some nutritional gaps. For example, many women will find it very difficult to adhere to the RDAs of iron. This is because the RDA for iron for women is much higher than what it is for men. This is especially true if a woman doesn't like to eat red meat all that much. But for example, adding fortified cereal will make it much easier for that woman to get her iron needs. The potential downsides of fortified foods are much smaller and much more rare when compared to their benefits, but they do exist. One potential, though very rare downside is the risk of toxicity. Certain vitamins and minerals can cause problems if they are consumed in large amounts. And we're mostly talking about fat-soluble vitamins as well as certain minerals like potassium and iron. But in all honesty, any person that's realistically at risk of having a micronutrient toxicity is probably someone who is suffering from some sort of disease that affects the way the body metabolizes micronutrients. We're mostly talking about some sort of kidney disease or liver disease. And of course, anyone who is suffering from such a disease should be in regular contact with their dietitian and doctor. But for the average Joe, the risk of toxicity from fortified foods is incredibly small. Another more subjective downside to fortified foods is our reliance of them as a population, in the place of having a balanced nutrition. It should go without saying that we should be striving for a balanced nutrition first, and then using fortified products maybe to fill in some gaps. Fortified products should be supplementary to a balanced nutrition and not being the basic building blocks. So yes, all in all, fortified foods are perfectly fine. Another aspect of fortified foods could be foods that were created or enhanced in a way to improve either sports performance or aesthetics. And these are closely related to fortified foods, but instead of focusing on filling some nutritional deficiencies, they are more designed to enhance performance or, again, make one reach their nutritional goals easier. And here we're talking about products like sports drinks that contain electrolytes, protein bars, protein bread, protein cereal, pretty much protein everything, to be honest. There are tons of products that are either created or modified in a way to help reach a nutrition-related goal. Whether that goal is to lose weight by promoting low-calorie alternatives, build muscle by introducing higher protein alternatives, or improve sports performance by providing specific nutrients at specific timings. And the mindset we want to be having when using these products is the exact same mindset as with fortified foods, meaning that we do want to use them when it's beneficial, but we don't want to replace a balanced diet. But in my opinion, the most interesting aspect of functional foods are foods that were specifically bred or whose genes have been altered to produce a superior version of that product. And it's here that we come across the less mainstream aspect of functional foods. And yes, in case you're wondering, this is a category in which GMOs also come into play, but not necessarily always. Now, selective plant breeding is nothing new. Humans have been doing it for thousands of years, and it's a major reason of why we have so many plant products nowadays. In fact, most of the natural plant products that you're consuming are a result of thousands of years of selective plant breeding. But in the modern era, we have a much better understanding of what compounds benefit us the most. Don't get me wrong, our understanding is still limited, but it's much better than what it was 2000 years ago. So selective breeding to create functional foods is still an up-and-coming industry. Nowadays, we have examples such as rice containing large amounts of beta-carotene, which is a precursor to vitamin A, oils that don't require hydrogenation to stay stable when used for cooking. In the last few decades, oils have been partially hydrogenated in order to keep them stable for cooking and to prevent them from producing foul odors. But for all of you woke people out there, you know that the partial hydrogenation of oils leads to the production of the much feared trans fats, which are a type of fatty acid that not only lowers good cholesterol, but also raises bad cholesterol, pretty much the worst of the worst. So creating plant oils that don't require partial hydrogenation is of course a major benefit to health. And another example are eggs that are very high in omega-3 fatty acid content. And this is done through the process of feeding chickens a specific diet that is rich in omega-3 containing foods, like flax seeds. In summary, functional foods in most countries can be considered to be any foods that provide an additional benefit beyond their standard nutritional value. And that's done either through the food itself in its natural form or through human intervention, either before the creation of the product itself or after. Which brings us to this question: are functional foods even worth it? Well, the answer is, for the most part, yes. Since the term functional products is so vague and contains such a vast array of products, it's not really fair or even realistic to judge the concept as a whole. Rather, each product should be judged individually and always within the context of the person that's consuming it. So here are 3 tips on how you can go about trying functional foods. The first tip is to buy with intent. Don't go and buy 200 different products because they're good for you. Ask yourself if that product is going to provide any major benefit to you. For example, if you see that sedentary lifestyle, you have no business buying products that are meant to enhance sports performance. On the flip side, if you're a woman who doesn't like to eat a lot of meat, but does enjoy eating cereal, then buying cereal fortified with iron and vitamin B12 would be a very good choice for you. Number 2, look at the cost. Many functional products, especially fortified staple foods, are cost effective. But some products, especially more niche and weird products, can be very expensive. Most of the time, the benefit that that product's gonna give you isn't really worth the cost. What you have to understand is that in the world of nutrition, it's very, very rare that you'll only be able to get a benefit from one specific type of product. Usually there are cheaper options, so do your research. For example, you don't really need to go and buy the most expensive type of apples, because in all likelihood, a normal variety of apples is gonna give you like 90% of the benefits, perhaps even 100% of the benefits. Don't make a hole in your wallet buying expensive stuff you don't really need. And number 3, always remember that a balanced nutrition beats everything. It has been documented time and time again that a balanced nutrition is the best thing for your health nutrition-wise. So don't rely on functional foods to fix your health. To close off this video, I just wanted to say that all foods are functional. In fact, it's pretty much the point of food to be functional. Even a relatively empty food is gonna be functional, at least in the sense that it's going to give you some energy to live, right? Calling some foods functional, and I guess by extension, some foods non-functional, isn't really representative of how nutrition works. Sure, some foods can be nutritionally richer and better for our health than other foods, but that doesn't mean that one food is, functional while the other isn't. It's not really how nutrition works. There is a time and place for any type of food. We just prefer to consume the healthier foods more often and in higher quantities. Thank you for watching the video. If you liked it, please drop a like, maybe a comment, perhaps even subscribe for more videos. See you in the next one.